Of the Eagle Mountain Saginaw Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present and that this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Welcome. We have something fun to do here right as we kick off. We're going to recognize our Aspiring Leader Institute and Aspiring Administrator Institute participants. Dr. Arnold. Oh, and Mr. Beard.
President Ring, Dr. Chadwell, and Board of Trustees, it is our true pleasure to present to you two incredibly fine groups of educators and people. I'll just have to say that the group that I worked with this year was one of the most deeply reflective and thoughtful groups I've ever had the pleasure of leading. And so we have our Aspiring Administrator Institute, and we also have our Aspiring Leader Institute here tonight.
All right, we will first start with Ali Yusufali. Autumn Childress. Christine Grimm. Clay Blackburn. Emily Reams. Haley Hogan. Joshua Massey. Lacey Reevy. Lindsay Metz. Maddie Delgado. Savannah Butterfield. Shannon Ellman. And Skyla Runestrom. Let's give ALI one more round of applause. Now we're going to recognize our AAI participants. It's really super exciting to be able to have this group of, again, very, very reflective, engaged. We had some very, very good, and I would say great speakers that joined our group this year. So without further ado, we will recognize our AAI participants.
Alexis Meekins. Dana Schweitzer. Daniel Bracamontes. Dwayne Fish. Heather McFarland. Dr. Jared Peters. Jennifer Ford. Lee McDade. Madeline Child. Michelle Cockrell. Natalie Sims. Stacy Wilson. Vanessa Holmes. One more round of applause for our AAI.
Congratulations to all of our participants. It's so wonderful to see our employees taking such a active interest in their professional development. I appreciate that. Right. That will let us move into our reports. We did not have anybody to sign up to speak, correct? All right, then let's go on to our board member continuing education report. I am happy to report that all board members have met or exceeded their training hours. I will highlight the winner this year, Steve Newcomb, with 21.5 hours of professional development. Way to go to everyone. I know not all board members take it as seriously as our board does, so I'm very proud of y'all for making sure we do everything that we are obligated to do as board members in terms of furthering our education. Thank you. You have anything on that as well, Dr. Chadwell?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and move on to Chief Ramirez with a district-wide intruder detection audit report.
President Ring, Dr. Chadwell, members of the board, it's always a pleasure to get in front of you guys. As you know, the School Safety Center is required to conduct random audits of the school in the district. This process requires an independent auditor to make visits to schools throughout the district and identify any issues that are not in compliance with state requirements. Within the last 45 days, an audit was conducted at one or more of our campuses, and one or more findings was identified as a result. A corrective action plan is required for any finding. A public report must be made to the board, required to the board of the findings. The report of the findings is also made to the Safety Security Committee, which was done last week. This information is protected information and will only be used by EMSI's, the police department, campus administrators, and district administrators to address such concerns and to take immediate actions to be in compliance with state requirements and district policies and procedures and regulation. In addition to the school district's Safety Security Committee, the board will be presented with specific details during executive session as allowed by state law. And this is just information only. Thank you.
Right, and then we'll move on to education services report. First, we have a English language arts and Spanish language arts update. We have several individuals coming to share that with us.
Good evening, President Ring, Dr. Chadwell, and members of the board. My name is Kathy Wool. I'm the secondary ELAR curriculum coordinator.
Angela Kennedy, elementary ELAR coordinator.
Ana De Leon, Spanish language arts coordinator.
My colleagues and I are excited to share with you an update and preview of our elementary and secondary ELAR work. As we reflect on this year, we must start by highlighting our elementary and secondary teachers, coaches, intervention specialists, and CLC facilitators. Team Language Arts embodies the very best of what education can be, a collaborative, learning-focused community dedicated to professional growth and high levels of learning for all students. We celebrate their incredible work and commitment to excellence. There are four main initiatives we'd like to spotlight. First is the implementation of the 2022 revised pre-kindergarten guidelines. Second, Year 4 of the Texas Reading Academies will shift from a blended online model to a comprehensive face-to-face model for teachers serving kindergarten through 3rd grade students. Teachers will participate in in-person training and receive in-classroom coaching support during the school year. Next, we continually deepen our understanding of the interconnectedness of reading and writing on STAR 2.0, emphasizing equal instruction in our reading and writing standards. Finally, the timeline implementation of HB 1605 guides our curriculum revisions and enhancements.
Something we're excited to share is our focus on growth across all campuses this year. In our elementary schools, we've adopted a growth tool provided by Leap Forward. It's designed for STAR grades, but we have successfully applied its principles in K2 as well. By leveraging data in this way across our campuses, we're ensuring that each student achieves a year of growth for every year of instruction. And this has gained significant momentum, and our plan is to continue this intentional work next year. These are just some samples of what the charts look like that the teachers create from the data, in addition to a student sample goal tracker. In our early childhood grades, we've collaborated closely, district and campus, towards Tier 1 implementation of instructional practices. Specifically, we focused on interactive read aloud in pre-K and the teaching of foundational skills in K2. Across all campuses, we have consistent data analysis tools in place for our M-Class screener, with a primary emphasis on the individual student growth. This year, we've introduced an additional layer of support for students through TEA grant-funded M-Class tutoring licenses. And looking ahead, our plan for this summer and the upcoming year is to maintain our focused momentum on assessment, instruction, and intervention. This is a look-for sample for how we work collaboratively with campus coaches and teachers to reflect on instructional practices and identify needs for support in the teaching of foundational skills. In our upper elementary grades, our primary focus is on building clarity regarding the TEKS, STAR 2.0, and providing instructional support for both teachers and students. The focus on growth strongly aligns with this goal. Teachers are able to track each student's progress more frequently, empowering them to make informed decisions about the next steps in instruction. A 5-week spiral review was provided as a resource from the spring interim leading up to the STAR exams, and these reviews help teachers revisit and reinforce the areas of greatest need for their students. This summer, we're taking on 3 projects aimed at equipping our teachers with tools that directly address individual student needs. And moving forward, our focus will remain on growth, including more frequent assessments and ongoing support for teachers in meeting their students' evolving needs.
Our bilingual program focused on the implementation of M-Class Lectura intervention reading lessons. We developed a Spanish language arts spiral review to include arguments, revision, and editing. We aligned our resources and curriculum to the revised pre-K guidelines, and we're excited to offer summer school programs for our emergent bilingual students in grades pre-K, K, and 2nd through 5th. We offered Title III Parent Academies to provide parents with the resources to support their child's education at home. Next year, we will implement genre supports and differentiated lessons. We're adding Spanish word study lessons in 2nd grade, and we'll work closely with the ELA team to ensure that our Spanish and English curriculum, assessments, and resources are aligned. We will continue to offer our Spanish and French parent academies.
There is much to showcase in secondary ELAR. This year, teachers were able to personalize their own professional learning on CLC days by choosing from a variety of breakout sessions created and led by their peers, the CLC facilitators. Facilitators shared actionable strategies and practical activities that teachers could easily integrate into their curriculum. Next, grade level specific Canvas courses were created to support our new to profession and new to district teachers. Each course provides curated instructional resources to help new teachers navigate the demands of their first year. During the summer, curriculum writers will review and revise curriculum documents and assessments to ensure tight alignment to power standards and the written, taught, and tested curriculum. Secondary ELAR is dedicated to supporting our CCMR mission and goal to prepare every student for success in college, career, or the military. For example, the English 3 curriculum will include opportunities for students to research various pathways for life after graduation. Additionally, SAT-style reading and writing practice will be integrated into instructional guides and documents and assessments. Looking ahead to next year, like elementary, secondary ELAR will have a strong focus on student growth. To monitor our writing progress across the year, we will supplement interim assessments with a district-created ECR writing prompt. Additionally, we will fine-tune our DCA questions and item types to ensure alignment to the curriculum in STAR 2.0. Finally, PLCs and CLCs will focus on goal setting, data analysis, and strategies for strengthening Tier 1 instruction and effective lesson delivery.
The Reading Language Arts team, us, will cultivate a love of reading and literacy through engaging activities involving our teachers, our students, and the community, such as the Reading Festival, Read Across America, our Spelling Bee, and literacy nights at our campuses. We build partnerships with parents from different cultures and languages. And during our parent academies, we provide sessions on various topics, including literacy strategies and adult ESL classes. Any questions?
We put more pictures in to be more fun this year.
They're great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we have an update on local policy. Ms. Eckert.
Good evening, President Ring, Dr. Chadwell, members of the board. Tonight I'm bringing to you for a report. I'll bring it back in May for vote. It's GK Local. EMSISD values our partnership with our volunteers, and we recognize the important role they play in helping us support the mission and vision of the EMSISD. This policy will ensure clarity and consistency of how we utilize our volunteers on our campuses. So again, I'm bringing this to you tonight just for a report, and I'll bring it back in May for voting. Are there any questions on this policy?
Looks like it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move into our operations reports. First, we have a construction update. Mr. Welch.
Good evening. We have a lot of pictures to show you on the progress at Eagle Mountain High School tonight. First of all, we've got some of the locker areas and focusing on the field house. And in this picture, you can, there's both of them, but you see the lighting, the hard ceiling, obviously the lockers, and then the flooring has been completed in that area. So when you look at those, that's more of a, I mean, it's close. So that's getting the finished product we're looking for. Also focusing still on the field house, the picture on the left is just a hallway showing the ceilings. You see cameras, you see the floor has been finished, but it has protection down on there so that something doesn't accidentally scruff up the VCT. Then we'll obviously pull that off, and then we'll wax it, and then it's ready to go. On the far right, that's just a picture of Coach's office. So you see some glass looking out into the hallway. You got the lighting, the ceiling, and then the floor. And then the one in the middle is just the stairwell. When you come up to the field house, when you're going up that stairwell, you see the finished ceiling that's in place. All right, we're going to kind of look at the big stadium. So you see the turf that's in place now. So they have all the turf has been put down as of 2 hours ago. They're out there putting the sand based, rubbing it in, getting it all set. And then on this end zone side, they've already got the track surface down, and they were already spraying the top layer on that, the red color that you'll see. So that is progressing very well. And the one on the left is just when they were kind of halfway going on that. That's a picture from the field house looking down onto the field. You got the railing put in, and also the ceiling above that has been put in. And the one on the right is just your, that's the cheer. And again, you're seeing a finished product there.
Sorry to interrupt, but
No.
There won't be mirrors in that cheer facility?
I know we have them in the dance. I don't remember with that as our standard in the, Hunter, do you remember? I don't know. Yeah, so. If the other ones, if we missed it somehow and that's what we put in the other ones, we'll definitely come back and put those in there. Sure. Okay, moving on to the auditorium. You've seen the one on the bottom left before, except, you know, what I wanted to focus there is, you know, they've done the top ceiling, but now they're doing the punch item on the scaffolding, not the scaffolding, but the walkway up there and punching that out. All the woodwork, if you look at this picture, it has now been completed, the diffusers. So those boxes are in place. And this week, we're going to have our actually delivery of the chairs. The seating is in progress. And the one on the right is just showing the ceiling grid, the acoustical in the band area. And the one on the left, they're working on the ceiling in when you walk into the Performing Arts Center. And they've got the plywood there, which you will get attached the wood panels on that area next. Okay, so looking at the outside on the far left, that's the hardscape, Dry Creek bed. So very detailed work there. I mean, those stones are not your average stones, you know, so it takes a lot of equipment to move those around. They've got a nice tree also planted in there. That's probably one of the larger ones on the site. Cafeteria is ongoing, so now that we remember, we waited the longest time to get our permanent water, so now you got the fire suppression. So now they're getting those inspections. That's when you start to see the ceilings come into place, and that's what they're addressing in there. And they'll start on the flooring. The one on the right is just it's the. If you look down the hallway, you can see that that is the VCT on the far end, and they were moving toward us in that picture, so that has been completed and covered up. Picture of the softball. So in that one, you see the stadium seating in there. The only thing, biggest thing there that's not there yet is the netting that will be in that, on that to protect the spectators, keep the ball in play. Some of the off-site work. So this was Jackson Construction pouring Fleming Ranch. You see the sidewalk also. The ones on the right, so they pour the roadway first, then they do the approaches, which is from the roadway to our property line. And so on the Fleming Ranch, that's all been completed now on the two approaches there. So some more road work. This is in the front of the high school. They got the sidewalk they're working on. The top picture is just the approach that they were going to our property line with. And then on the bottom right, that's the one we've been struggling to get, but that's the fiber. And so it's coming from the maintenance facility and will tie into the high school so that we're all connected in that area. That was the work they were progressing on. The gym main entrance, I think we got one panel that hadn't been filled in, but that's coming together. They still have a few more tidy up things in there, but you can start seeing the landscape coming around the campus. When you look at tennis courts, you'd almost say that's what it's supposed to look like. So really around the field house area that we're about to release, the majority of the grass and trees, shrubs are in place. And they'll just keep moving around the campus. Daily, you get the big loads of grass that come in and they work that. Just some, I guess the most, to see the landscaping is kind of like the paint in a room. It's kind of the finished thing. So just some examples of how it's starting to look, because you can't see that from the road. So we're excited to show you that. And we're still on course on our timeline. We moved some things up a little bit, but on May 20th, we're going to have some of the, talk about the FF&E, the fixtures, furniture, equipment's coming in. Some of the weight room matting is already showing up. The move in for the field house is June 17th. The FF&E for the main building is the 10th of June. And we'll move the administration in their certain area a week before July's out. And then on July the 8th, after the shutdown week, we'll invite the staff in.
Well, I thought the 17th date from our last meeting bumped up to like the 3rd. Did I miss that? Or it's always been the 17th. Is that correct? For fieldhouse staff move-in?
I think that should
Maybe I
say
wrote
May
that down wrong.
17th.
Okay.
That's May 17th. That's a good catch. Sorry. Yeah, they're moving in because we're going to start the summer workouts. In that
Okay, I thought it was the 3rd, so that it moved up from there.
Yeah.
So it's, okay. And that road-wise, how will that, our road, because it's 2 lanes, it's 2 lane and the turn lane, right?
Correct.
How's that, I guess it just goes from that, goes from the concrete to, will we have to pour, I guess we'll have to pour an additional, will it be asphalt, I guess, back to connect to it?
Yes, there'll be some finished work to have done to clean the existing surface and make sure it transitions properly there. So we're looking at the end of May to transition to the concrete side. Then when we make that transition, they'll come in and demo the north side, all that asphalt. And they have one storm drain cover that they need to fix and make a tie-in, but it doesn't affect what we're doing. But that'd be the last part of that picture there on the front. Wayside, it's started, the world's becoming real for us very quickly on this one. So still working with the city on some things, working on those permits. Tonight, the demolition package will come to the board for consideration. And that is a May 1st, what we're set there to get started on that project. The first thing you'll see Tuesday night, after everybody moves out, there'll be barricades put up in the parking lots and in the areas. So when the fencing company shows up on Wednesday, those are already be cleared. So they're going to focus on the front of Old Decatur. We'll still keep some of the barricades that'll eventually get fencing, but we didn't want to put out that loud hammers and stuff in the fence right next to the building as school is going on. But you'll start to see the dumpsters show up, the trailers, and it's going to start. We've already put out signs all around the campus, little bandit signs, notifying people that if they are playing on that or they're parking there, they'll have to find a different location while we're under construction. We had a community meeting, so that was last week, and we felt like it went well. There was right at 18 folks there that came and asked questions. Most of them focusing on safety and how we keep everything, keep people out of that area. So there were some good questions out of that. But it's here.
Comment on Wayside. Chief Ramirez was there at the meeting as well, and we'll have additional police officers there, especially at the very beginning of the transition to help. So for example, as we release the buses, we'll release all those at one time. His team will actually shut down Bailey Boswell for those few minutes to get all the buses out at one time onto that road. And so that will greatly assist because we know that's difficult in that area. So there's a number of things like that happening in terms of drop-off pickup and also transition of students over to the across the street to Bryson for the field that they're building. So their team is very involved in working closely with the campus and making that happen. So.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Then let's move on to our maintenance update. Mr. McWhorter.
Good evening, President Ring, Dr. Chadwell, board members. This is our maintenance update. First here, I have a few slides of completed fall and summer projects. General maintenance here completed 4 instructional spaces for the TEAMS program, 2 at Hadley Elementary School and 2 at the portables at Wayside Middle School. This was accomplished in-house for a cost of $6,773 and was completed in February. These are not permanent. They're attached to the ceiling grid and anchored to the floor and can be removed at any time. Here, general maintenance restored 16 classrooms at Saginaw High School to normal operations following a flood event that occurred during a January winter weather event. They replaced drywall, cove base, and ceiling tiles. This again was completed in-house at a cost of $2,500, saving the district roughly $30,000 in outside contractor fees. And this was completed January 31st. And this was caused by a faulty sink valve. Here, this was actually brought on by Dr. Chadwell. He found this at Saginaw High School. The electrical and general maintenance departments performed upgrades to the lighting and entrances at Saginaw High School on the west end of the building, leading into the Fine Arts Center. They installed new light fixtures, painted, pressure washed, and removed old screening from the doors. This was completed in March in-house at a cost of $8,883. And as you can see from the before and after pictures, at the top and bottom, this was literally a night and day difference. I mean, it's amazing the difference that it made.
Safety.
Here are the closeout work orders by work group from October of 2023 to April of 2024. I'm not going to read through all of these, but would like to give recognition to our locksmith department, specifically Miguel Talavera, and thank the board for the addition of a second locksmith, Glenn Langhoff. Glenn has over 45 years of experience and started in February. And since his addition, the locksmith department is currently down to 16 open work orders. And this traditionally hovered around 100 open work orders. So his addition was a great asset to us. We conducted 2 auctions, and here are the statistics and proceeds from each. November 2023, $27,347. And March of 2024, $25,754. And here I'd like to recognize Aaron Hardesty, our operations supervisor, for spearheading these. He inventories, takes pictures, and provides descriptions, and works with Renee Bates to get the auctions up and running. And after the auctions close out, Aaron works with the buyers to arrange payment and pickup. And then here are our upcoming summer projects. We're going to be doing parking lot restriping at Creekview Middle School, Dozier Elementary, Gilliland Elementary, and Hollinside Career and Technology Center. Gym floor resurfacing on the composition and auxiliary floors at Boswell, Saginaw, and Chisholm Trail High Schools. We'll be assisting with the Eagle Mountain High School move-in. And then playground fall material replacement at Copper Creek, Dozier, Eagle Mountain Elementary, Greenfield Elementary, Halfley Development Center, Lake Country, Lake Point, Parkview, Remington Point, Saginaw, and Willow Creek Elementary Schools. And that is it. Any questions?
I'd just like to say, appreciate everything that y'all do. Again, with what I do, I'm around districts all the time and around their facilities, and there's just has what we have. And this is because of our maintenance people, your direction, everybody's leadership that's involved, and you just wouldn't believe the difference in our district versus most other districts. I mean, they can't even, I mean, we're way up here. I mean, which we should be, and all it takes is people that are caring and hard work, and y'all do that, and y'all's people do that. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I just would add, great job on those things that we're able to keep things in-house and save money, significant amounts for the district.
That's what I was going to say.
Excellent work.
Thank you.
Other questions, comments? Okay, next we have a child nutrition report. Mr. Wiley.
Dr. Chadwell, members of the board, thank you for having me. We received the gold level Turn Up the Beat and as one of the only 19 districts in the state of Texas to receive the gold level award. This award recognizes outstanding summer meal program sponsors across the nation who work to offer high quality meals to children that are appetizing, appealing, and nutritious during the summer months. To earn the Turn Up the Beat award, a district must serve local foods, a variety of fruits and vegetables, and whole grains. We were also a recipient of the Best of the Bunch Award, which recognizes Texas school districts who participate in the annual Farm Fresh Challenge, working to incorporate Texas agricultural products into our menus and Texas agriculture educational information into our school meals. We also did a new point of sale this year. We've not updated that since my first year here. Child Nutrition Services implemented a new web-based point of sale for the 23-24 school year. This system improves the department's ability to combat a cyber attack, as well as provides a web-based program to replace the previous Access database program, which struggled to keep up with the growth of the district. It's going to have to be replaced eventually, and the sooner the better, as we add schools almost every year. Proposed nutrition standards. Every year, of course, we got some on the books that are coming up. These are sort of adding on to last year, which hadn't happened yet, and they're still looking at them. As with last year, we have some proposed nutrition standards. The USDA has proposed standards that would limit added sugars and change how the weekly whole grain flexibilities are placed on our menus. These changes have not yet been finalized, but could go into effect for the 25-26 school year. The biggest potential impact of these changes would be sugar allowances. Currently, there are no limits on added sugars for reimbursable meals. In phase 1, they would place limits placed on specific high sugar products. And in phase 2, there would be weekly sugar limits placed across all meals. At one time, it looked like there would also be additional sodium restrictions as well as potential restriction to the use of flavored milk that I mentioned last year. The Appropriations Act of 2024 became law on March 9th, which actually helped us with this. It stated that current sodium limits would remain in effect through the school year 26-27, after which sodium limits would not be more restrictive than a 10% reduction. It also allowed the continued service of fat-free and/or low-fat flavored milk for kindergarten through 12 students. Some of the potential impacts for EMS would be at breakfast. With these proposed sugar limits, certain items would no longer be offered, including cinnamon rolls, French toast sticks, and 60% of the current cereal options. So syrup would no longer be offered with pancakes or other breakfast items, and toast may no longer be offered. Toast may no longer be able to be offered with jellies. So some things in there not as bad as if they would have really hit the sodium limits, but these fat limits are gonna impact us a bit. Once again, the final rule's not out yet, so we'll hear more about that sometime in the upcoming year. A la carte items are still to be determined, as the USDA has not yet determined how these new regulations would be implemented in reference to food served in the snack bars or the bistros. We have continued our TCU dietetic intern program. The CNS department currently has a second dietetic intern about to wrap up here from TCU. This partnership is beneficial for both TCU as well as EMS. TCU dietetic interns are able to obtain part of their 175 hours of supervised practice for food service management in our district while also helping the child nutrition department. We also are looking to hosting the TASN, Texas Association for School Nutrition Managers Academy this summer. The district will be hosting this is a 4-day class focusing on customer service, leadership, creating an effective team, menu planning, human resources, cashier training, and financial management. It will be available to any EMS manager who wants to attend, as well as managers from other surrounding districts in order to help us fill up this class. We have some department leadership and involvement updates. Norma Riojas, one of our child nutrition supervisors, will become the Area 6 representative for the Texas Association for School Nutrition. Megan Martinson, our Assistant Director for Child Nutrition, was elected as the chair-elect for the School Nutrition Services Dietetic Practice Group and will serve as the chair for the upcoming school year. Megan was also nominated to be able to attend the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics Leadership Institute, completing the 60-hour Leadership Institute in October of 2023.
Aaron, you mind if I just interject something?
Sure.
I also want to note that all the rules that he read earlier that could occur, may occur, but also all the rules we live under now, Megan has to make those work. I know obviously your leadership is important there, but Megan's the one sitting there trying to balance that. And it's really, really hard to do that and also have meals that kids will eat. And so I really appreciate her work and efforts in that area. We know that's not easy, and just thank you, because we have high participation in our meals, and I don't think it'd be possible without the menu creation that you do. People just simply wouldn't buy the meals. So thank you for that.
She's absolutely amazing. Yeah. And I have been identified as a future leader for the Texas Association for School Nutrition, which is our state organization, as well as the School Nutrition Association, which is our national organization, as a future leader. As part of this development in the organizations, I'll be attending the School Nutrition Association National Leadership Conference starting on Thursday. Excess fund balance update. Due to additional funds being added during the pandemic to our reimbursements, the Child Nutrition Services Department accumulated an excess fund balance higher than what is allotted by the USDA. USDA allows up to 3 operating months of expenditures to be kept in the child nutrition fund balance. And we had 3 projects that were completed over the past year that brought us back into compliance. The first was the Saginaw High School refresh during the summer of 2023, which included all new serving lines and all new equipment in that kitchen. Basically, we took everything out and replaced everything brand new. High Country, Remington Point, Chisholm Ridge, and Hafley Development Center all received new serving lines over this past fall, and we completed a district-wide equipment refresh over the winter for all schools that needed to replace their ovens or steamers or holding cabinets, everything that might had a little bit too much maintenance over the last few years and was looking kind of worn. We ended up getting those replaced. With these projects completed, the Child Nutrition Services Fund balance is back in compliance. Additionally, as these funds are no longer being added to our regular government meal reimbursements, this should not be an issue moving forward. While we are exempt from the USDA requirements to raise our meal prices, we would like to consider a paid meal increase for next year. The district has not increased meal prices since the 2016-2017 school year and has not increased breakfast meal prices in over 15 years. I'm not exactly sure when the last time we did breakfast, but it was before my time. To get a better feel for this, in 2016-2017, food cost averaged $1.13 per meal served. This year, the cost is trending towards $1.47 per meal served, representing a 23% increase in food costs over that time period. Child nutrition workers in 2016-2017 started at $11.03 an hour and are currently starting at $14.35 with an eye on increasing that again next year. As you can see, we are the lowest district in our area for meal prices. Currently $2.55 for elementary lunch and $2.80 for secondary lunch. The districts around us are averaging around $2.89 for elementary and $3.16 for secondary if you average them out. Our options for the 24-25 school year are either to increase our lunch price by 20 cents, bringing us to $2.75 at elementary level and $3 at the secondary level, as well as an increase to breakfast of 15 cents to bring us up to $1.50, or to keep our current pricing. This is obviously for informational purposes only. This item will be brought back for review and possible approval at the May meeting. Do you all have any questions? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, moving on to our finance report. We have a budget update. Mr. Welch.
Well, good evening, President Ring, Dr. Chadwell, members of the Board of Trustees. Tonight we have a budget update with just a couple of items to run through. First thing is, as kind of a follow-up to last month's report, there was a question when we were looking at an analysis of state funding and how that breaks down per student. And we're going back to the numbers that have most recently come from TEA. That analysis is actually of the 2021-2022 school year. But if you'll remember this slide, it described where we had $11,038 distributed to school districts by TEA on average. And so the question was, well, how's that compared to EMS ISD? And so very simply, you can see here that EMS ISD receives less per student in this scenario. And with that, there's also a little bit of a breakdown that I can touch on. First off, versus that $11,038 that the state has as the average, for EMS ISD during that same time, it was $9,836. And you can see that again, the lower level on these two comparisons. The other thing to note is that part of that, or why would that be the case, is that one of the significant differences here, there are some things that school districts are eligible for from district to district. There are some allocations. One of those would be the small district allotment. The smaller districts get access to additional funds per student. But it's not only an adjustment as a separate allotment that adjusts and impacts their funding per student on the basic allotment on a regular student, but also that then transpires to a couple of the allocations, which would be the career and technology as well as the special ed allocations. And you can see that with a couple of the comparisons. This gray area here is actually comp ed, and you can see where there's a decrease there. If you look at this orange is career and technology, you can see that amount per student. We end up getting a little less there because of just the extra factor that gets given to the small districts on that allocation. Here in the special programs or serving students with disabilities, here in this gold color, we actually get a little bit more per student, but you got to remember that that's based off the students' instructional settings and their needs, and that can vary significantly from district to district. Here in the Metroplex, we tend to see a higher level in that percentage in who we serve versus what you may see in some rural areas. So that's a part of that comparison. Again, if you look on this comparison, the 6,160 stays the same as we look at this number. So anyways, just a little comparison there on going back to that state level. Moving forward, we also did, and I just kind of recap that here with this information, but then we also looked at kind of coming from a different point of view and looking at our how much funding we get in each allocation, looking at one student in EMS ISD and how that transpires from 2021 to 2022. And here, a couple of things to note. You can see that we are actually getting a little bit more per student from in that time frame, but that's driven by a couple of different things. One would be the amount of money that we get in some of those allocations because we have a higher participation in those allocations or in student programming. So here in blue, well, let's move to, let's look here in gold, which is our students with disabilities. Again, we just kind of talked about that number increasing. And so that's program participation driving that. There's here in gray, the number of comp ed students. That number is driving the increase there. Here in the light blue, this is actually our tier 2 funding revenue, and that's driven by a change in the guaranteed yield for the amount for the taxes that we receive in the out of our tier 2 funds, which would also be our tax rate election. What they call now VADER was TRE back when we did it. And so with that, that's something that I'd like to note that, yeah, we are seeing an increase in this year, but that's not from legislative action. That's actually in law that's driving that guaranteed yield. For the legislature did not take action to change that yield. That is actually driven by a change in state in the Austin yield that drives that and makes a change in the funding allocation there. So that was prior biennium that made that additional funding for us this year, but not anything that the legislature did with the $32 billion that they had available. The other thing to note with this comparison, and it doesn't really show here in the green very, it's tough to see at this level, but I noted that if you actually look at the pie of funds that we're getting,
and you break that up into the allocations, our regular ed student amount has actually decreased. And that portion of the pie has now gone from, in 2021, 2022, from $5,490. It's now down to $5,412. And so just kind of understanding, again, without any increases to the basic allotment, that number, especially as we're seeing programmatic needs increase, that number that we get to spend on, basically that's there to serve all students, not individual populations, that number is getting squeezed down and compacted. And we'll continue to see that happen and see that pressure without a change in the basic allotment.
We thought it was important that you see this information. Just as recent as this weekend, one of our state leaders did an interview and called the complaints about the funding and specifically the basic allotment as bogus. I disagree with that assessment, and the comment about the basic allotment being locked in, immediately there was a pivot to these other allotments that we know sometimes are unfunded mandates, much like the safety security allotment. With the additional funding came the additional requirements, which mean it was a net negative. Same things with special education, same thing with a number of different areas. But also we know that the other perception is that we have been able to, our growth has actually positively impacted us. Whereas we know that with more growth comes more students, and that is just doesn't really create additional funding, provide needs. There was also a number of comments stated that we have passed up on dollars to increase teacher salaries. There's been a push to the teacher incentive allotment, which comes with an incredible amount of oversight. Anyway, the point is that there's a lot of words being said, but the reality is the numbers don't lie. These are the numbers. People can say what they want to politically, but you don't have the number of districts in the state with deficit budgets, which is nearly all of them, because we missed it somehow. Just collectively, we missed it, and we're getting bogus numbers. These are the real numbers. And so the last thing I'll say is that there's been a number of comments about ESSER funding, and that we need to be held accountable of how we've used that funding. I totally agree with that, but people forget also that those are one-time expenditures that you can't use to maintain salaries. So in one voice, we're saying we need to put money before teachers at the state level, which I agree with that. But in the next voice is, well, we should be using our ESSER funds, but you can't use ESSER funds for salaries because it's limited. And there was also a lot of requirements there. And by the way, there was something called COVID that we went through too, which affected all kinds of factors financially. So I felt like it was important that we keep putting this out there because we're battling misinformation that's given out nearly on a daily basis. And the information from our own Texas Education Agency provided misinformation because they're trying to wrap everything all into one. So just wanted to share that with y'all for your benefit.
And again, what you're seeing here, this is driven by the needs of our students. So as our student needs have gone up, that's the only reason that this is showing any kind of increase. But overall, the money per regular student is going to continue to compact. And any questions on that realm? Okay. Second item tonight, I know Mr. Doug Kittinger is listed on the as the presenter on this.
We're actually we have a very full closed session agenda, so I think we're going to save this for our 7 o'clock session.
Okay.
We will make that exciting for you, Doug.
Sorry, we're going to do these last 2 reports in our 7 o'clock session.
So sorry.
All right. Thank you, Rob, for our first report. We'll be anxious to hear the other 2 finance reports when we return at 7, but currently it is 5:53 on April 22nd, and this board will now recess for dinner and then reconvene in a closed meeting pursuant to the following sections of the Texas Open Meeting Act. Section 551.071 for the purpose of private consultation with the board's attorney. Section 551.072 for the purpose of deliberating the purchase, exchange, lease value of real property. Section 551.074 for the purpose of deliberating the appointment, employment, reassignment duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, or to hear a complaint or charge against an employee. That also does include contract renewals this evening. We also have section 551.076 for the purpose of deliberating regarding the deployment or specific occasions for implementation of security personnel or security audits, and that will include the district-wide intruder detection audit report findings this evening, and section 551.0821 to discuss specific personal identifying information about a student. This is a public meeting of the Board of Education of the Eagle Mountain Saginaw Independent School District. The board is reconvening in a public meeting on April 22nd at 7:08 p.m. and will now consider the subject set forth in the posted agenda. Welcome to our April meeting. It's wonderful to see a full house here. Sorry, we had a very full session in closed session tonight, and so we got out a little later than usual. Appreciate you guys having patience with us. Let's go ahead and start with our opening ceremony from Northbrook Elementary. Ms. Smith?
We are the Northbrook Blazers. Blazers show compassion, treat others with respect, strive for excellence, work as a team, and what did I forget? Serve others. I'm Heather Smith. I'm the interim principal at Northbrook, and I have brought 5 Blazers with me to help me with the pledge tonight. We have Skylar Guillory. Skylar is a 3rd grader. She is the daughter of Lakeisha Malone and Narcisse Guillory. She serves on our student council and she's in PACE. Outside of school, Skylar is a cheerleader with All-Star Cheer. She loves singing, loves animals, especially puppies and horses. She loves fashion and she likes shopping. Skylar's dream job is to either be a professional singer or to be a pediatrician.
Ah, very nice.
Peyton Davis is a 3rd grader. She is the daughter of Alexandria and Joseph Ayala. She's on our student council. She loves to sing, play with friends, and draw. Peyton's dream job is to be a figure skater, or as she calls it, a ballerina on ice. This is Zion Solomon. She's in 4th grade. She is the daughter of Azane Obino Solomon. She is on our student council. She is in PACE. She's in choir, and she competed in UIL in number sense. She loves to do arts and crafts, play outside with friends, and read. Zion's dream job is to be the President of the United States.
Come on, nice.
This is Annabelle Munoz. Annabelle is a 5th grader. She is the daughter of Brianna Tarrin and Adrian Maese. She's on student council and in choir. She loves to play outside and watch TV with her dog. Annabelle's dream job is to be a zoologist because she loves exotic animals and wants to study and care for them. And finally, I have Alexander Lee. Alexander is a 5th grader. He is the son of Wayne Lee and Kim Wynn. He is on student council. He is in PACE, and he also competed in UIL number sense. Alexander likes to study, play video games, watch YouTube, do homework, play chess with his sister, and read books. Alexander's dream job is to become a type of scientist because he wants to create new things and help the world.
Please stand and join us in the USA flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Join us in the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Now please stay standing and join us for a moment of silence. Thank you, and now you may sit down.
Thank you, Northbrook. All right. We also have some special recognitions this evening. First, from our Career and Technology Program competition winners, Dr. Eldridge.
Good evening, President Ring, Board Trustees, Dr. Chadwell, and leadership team. I get up every day and say I love my job, but today is like I really love my job. And so I am so thrilled and honored to be able to present to you students who have given time, their talent, their skill, and their knowledge to represent the district at local and state competitions, who have placed first in their divisions, and some of them will be moving on to national competitions and international competitions. And so we just want to recognize their efforts tonight. So I'd like to start off with our Taffy Educator Rising Group. First off, we have Megan Colgan, Saginaw High School 12th grader. Megan is a national qualifier in varsity teacher creative materials. And then we have the team of Molly Madowney, CTHS 12th grader, 11th grader. She's coming back next year.
Yeah.
And Adriana Garcia, who is a 12th grader at Chisholm Trail High School. And they placed first as a team in Varsity Interactive Bulletin Board Elementary. And so these are students who are currently in our HCTC Education and Training Program, who are currently in classrooms and getting ready to come back to be here as teachers in a few years.
Great, wonderful.
Their sponsor is Lindsay Metz.
That's it.
And she's right there.
She's right there. There she is.
Stealthy.
And if you are a parent or family member of one of these wonderful students, would you please stand and be recognized? Next up, we have our Skills USA students, and we have 4 that will be going on to national competition in Atlanta this summer. First, we have the man who will be defending his national title this year, Jonathan Almodovar, Saginaw High School 12th grader. He will be competing in maintenance and light repair for the second year. Aiden Love, Boswell High School 12th grade. He placed first place and is a national qualifier in power equipment technology. Evan Lawrence, Saginaw High School 12th grade. First place and national qualifier in mobile electronics installation. And Daniel Dries, Boswell High School 11th grader, who is first place and national qualifier in internetworking. So their teachers are Michael Ritchie and Ernie Cruz. I'd like to now recognize if you are a parent of one of these Skills USA students, would you please stand and be recognized? And now for what I think is the umpteenth year in a row, NASA Space Settlement Design Challenge. These students, 2 of them with their teacher, Mr. Griffith. Again, I believe this is the 12th consecutive year. 10th consecutive year that we will be that the district will be represented at the international competition at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. And so to my left, I have John Maynard, Boswell High School 11th grader. And Hunter Hayden, Boswell High School 11th grader. Again, Rick Griffith is their teacher. And if you are a parent of John or Hayden or family member, would you please stand and be recognized? This year, we have a first that we are thrilled about. We have a courts and criminal procedures program at HCTC, and they have started to compete at youth and government. And so we had a team that went down and placed first place in the state judicial competition in the county court division. And so we had 8 students, 3 of which who are here with us tonight. And so just to go over, Lily Kraft from Boswell was a member, Tatum Harris from Boswell, Eden Sotelo at Chisholm Trail, Milani Hollins at Saginaw High School. And with us tonight, we have Taylor Emerson, Boswell High School 11th grader. Coit Collins, Boswell High School 12th grader. And Natalie Aldwin Garcia, Boswell High School 12th grader. Their instructor is over here. He braved his broken foot to be here with us. Shane Armstrong is with us tonight. If you are a parent of one of the youth and government court assistance teams, would you please stand and be recognized? We are grateful. These students, thank you for what you do. We're proud of you. Know that we go with you when you go to those competitions across the country to represent the district and your families and your schools and your instructors. Thank you. This happens because of you, and we are grateful for those opportunities. So, congratulations.
We have a few more special recognitions. We have Chess Club State Champions from Willow Creek Elementary and Chisholm Trail High School. Ms. Overman.
Make my way through the crowd of award winners there. Thank you very much. So I do have the privilege of sharing with you some more state champions. Our chess club students from Willow Creek Elementary School and Chisholm Trail High School both placed first in their respective categories at the 2024 Texas Scholastic Chess Championships held last month in Houston. We're proud to celebrate and recognize the state champions from Willow Creek and Chisholm Trail. If you're from Willow Creek and Chisholm Trail, would you please come forward as a state champion? Willow Creek, Chisholm Trail. So we'll start with Willow Creek, and they have a wonderful plaque with their chief.
Wow, that's so awesome.
There you go. Thank you. So from Willow Creek, we have Liam Donaldson from the 5th grade, Reese Donaldson, 3rd grade, Mark Hudspeth, 3rd grade, Giovanni LaFuente, 4th grade, Cole Link from the 3rd grade, Axel Mendoza, 4th grade, Miguel Plaza, 4th grade, Diego Quirindongo, 4th grade, Juan Reyes, 4th grade, Nathan Rosas, 4th grade, Arturo Trevino, 3rd grade, and Garrett Vasquez from the 3rd grade. Their teachers and sponsors, Ileana Davis. What's her? And their teachers and sponsors are Ignacio Agosto and Myrna Torres. Congratulations, Willow Creek. Some hardware, so
Impressive hardware, very impressive trophies.
Also wearing their hardware tonight are Chisholm Trail High School. We have Alexandro, 12th grade, Sam Bowie, 10th grade, Alejandro Cardoza, 11th grade, and Adrian Mullen from 9th grade. Teacher sponsor Andrew Williamson and volunteer chess coach Eduardo Zagal.
Nice.
We are super proud of these students. Congratulations to each one of you. I can't play chess to save my life, so you guys would not have a hard time beating me on that. But congratulations on your accomplishments and your representation of your schools and of our school district. So thank you for being here tonight.
I just want to say, Ms. Overman, I want to say I had the opportunity to visit Willow Creek. I guess it was a couple of years ago. They invited me for practice, and our coaches said this would happen. They predicted it. And here we are. So thank you for your determination and both of the teams' determination to make this happen and see this vision for our students. And of course, most of all for our students, hard work and determination to do this. And just really appreciate you all bringing so much pride to our community and going out and competing and succeeding. Thank you.
This was Kendrick's first year.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
That's a legacy to continue, right? All right, very good. Thank you all for being here tonight and congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. All right, that does conclude our special recognitions and our opening ceremonies for this evening. So if you were just here for that, now would be a nice time to sneak out. You're welcome to stay as we move back into the reports that we didn't finish from our 5 o'clock session. So while they are making their exits, if we could have Mr. Kittinger make your way up to the microphone to talk to us about a 23-24 budget amendment.
Yes.
Maybe change the time, maybe he got word.
Did he have to leave?
No, he's right there.
Oh, he's there.
He's here.
Oh,
He's here.
there he is.
He's here.
Big crowd.
Yeah. I like their cleared out shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them, hospital and.
Yeah, it is, but it's very
Oh, yeah. Well, that is a hard act to follow,
Yes.
by all means. We'll keep this one pretty brief then. And so second item we have for you this evening is a budget amendment to reflect the latest projection on the revenue side of the 2023-2024 budget. The amendment details were provided in Board Book in the standard forms of both a description of amending events and a report of the proposed amended totals. This update is capturing the effects of the legislative changes to the property values and frozen value calculations per the comptroller and the implementations of the changes into the TEA funding formula, along with updated mid-year student programming and its impact on our program allocations. These numbers reflect the projection at this time, but I will remind you that we still have adjustments for the end of the school year as well as end of the fiscal year. And that level of counting, that will all continue to impact where our final outcomes are. So at this time, I'll be glad to answer any questions, but just like I said, wanted to get that information in front of you. All right. And Mr. Keenenger here is going to be accompanying me on budget amendments going forward, and if not taking them over entirely, so he's part of the process this time. So
great.
Look forward to him working with y'all in the future on these. So, thank you. Thank you.
And you've got one more for us?
Yes,
About
and
some
for our-
interlocal agreements?
Absolutely. So for our third report this evening, we'd like to share information about an upcoming item in the action agenda where the district is recommending entering into interlocal agreements with the Region 10 Education Service Center for participation in their Retirement Asset Management Services Program, also known as RAMS. The RAMS program is overseen by a board made up of leadership from the Region 10 ESC or Education Service Center and participating school districts. And it's administered by TCG Administrators, which is a Hub International company that has worked with school districts across the state and in the areas of compensation and benefits. EMS ISD already participates in the RAMS 457B FICA Alternative Program. We've transitioned to it last year to take advantage of the program's quality service as well as the low fee structure that it has in place, and that has been successful. And so with that being a very successful implementation, we are recommending that we transition the district's 403B third-party administration services and the remaining 457B retirement savings plan to the RAMS program as well. With about 200 other school districts utilizing these specific services, the economies of the program allow for a lower cost, lower fee scenario with some added benefits for those employees taking advantage of the 457B plan. including complementary income tax preparation services, preparation of a basic will or guardianship document, and access to the financial wellness program that TCG provides that includes access to a live finance coach. The agreements provide for an effective date of June 15, 2024, which allow the plans to be transitioned for the 2024-2025 employee benefits open enrollment that occurs this summer. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer those.
Who handles our 457B now? Is it a broker?
It is, so we have, there's two pieces to the program. There's the deduction administrative pieces, and that is Omni is our third-party administrator that handles both the 403B and the 457B. And then the 457B is a deferred comp program, and that plan is actually owned by the district, and those assets are managed and we have a fiduciary responsibility over those, and that Cetera helps administer those from as far as brokering the plan, brokering investments for the participants of the plan. That would have moved to TCG to provide those fiduciary responsibilities and provide investment options for our participants.
Is this something the employees have asked for, or is it just something that we are going to?
As a growing district and looking at our needs, we have some options here that are providing us. We looked at it as providing additional benefits and services for our employees going forward.
And one thing is that this particular program is specific to Region 10, so they cater to a lot of people outside of the education arena, but this specific program really caters to educators. We feel like that there's not enough employees that are invested in it. When I look at it, there's a lot more program offerings under the TCG. I'm very familiar with them, and they have worked very well with school districts around the state and really had this specialization through the RAND Region 10 program. We felt like there'll be more services. As we did a side-by-side, we saw that the returns were slightly better with the RAMS program, but also fees were significantly less. And then there are the other value adds. They're a larger program. They simply have more services they can offer. And so we feel like that although people haven't come forward with that, they probably don't know exactly what other offerings there could be. And so we've been in discussions for a while with them. We're very appreciative of Cetera, and Cetera will continue to be a 403P provider. So anybody who has Cetera investments through 403B will continue to do that. But we feel like there's a greater continuum of services with TCG being the kind of the workforce behind that program. We did do a side-by-side though before we move forward. Yeah.
Other questions?
This is the one that you said we have like 30-something employees that are in.
There's 40. Mm-hmm.
Do you have any facts or from this other group with other districts of greater participation percentage? I mean, that's incredibly low.
That wasn't part of the negotiation of like we need you to grow it to this number because it's all voluntary. But we do know that it's being through Region 10. There is more work specifically towards the educator of how to invest. A lot of people do 457s. Both plans are valuable, but 403B also has some other options there. I really feel like that the numbers, I feel like that's too low. 40 out of nearly 3,600 employees, just way low. In fact, the other number is not that high either, 440. We really know that that's something that needs to be done. Some of this is just education. I opened up for 403B in 1993 because one of our principals said, you need to open up a 403B. And I'm like, okay, I didn't know. And from then on, started that because they educated. And so that's one of the things that we want is greater education for our employees to start that at the beginning of service and to watch that build over time. And we feel like it's just not, other districts have a higher participation rate than us. And
lower fees should hopefully help.
Lower fees on the 457 is significant. And so felt like that would be just more dollars in people's pockets.
As well as some of the other services that are significant dollars as well that they
will. I mean, doing a will is going to be up to $1,000, and that's a service that's provided there, and that's a basic will.
Yes,
that's provided.
Questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Does conclude our reports for this evening, so we can move into our action items. First action item this evening is to consider approving the renewal of agreement with Gold Star Transit. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, President Ring, board members, and Dr. Chadwell. I am here tonight to discuss amendment number 3 for Gold Star Transit. Just to kind of give you a very quick, very brief recap. The initial agreement, the initial 3-year term, is set to expire on August 31st of this year. And so what I'm bringing forward tonight is the first renewal option. When the RFP was done in 2021, it was a 3-year term with 2 1-year options. So this will be the first of those 2 option years. What you have, or what you should have in your packet, starting I believe on page 117, is the actual amendment number 3. It outlines the terms and the for the increase. So within the agreement, I brought to you before the CPI increase. The Bureau of Labor Statistics set the CPI this year for the Dallas-Fort Worth Arlington market at 4.9%. So based on the agreement and the contract, Gold Star would have the ability to go up to 4.9. But through talks with operations, the operations team and Gold Star, just with everything going on and just kind of asking them to be a good partner to us with all the different challenges that we had from a budget standpoint. They had only gone up 3.5% last year, if you recall. And so they agreed to just leave it at 3.5% and not take the full 4.9. So I appreciate them coming forward with that. The amendment, or with the 3.5% increase, that puts the overall year-to-year increase at right at $689,000. So within that $689,000 also is the addition of 3 home-to-school routes for Eagle Mountain High School. We have not, or Gold Star has not added routes since, I believe in 2019 was the last time that any routes were added. So if you can imagine, we've added schools during that time, Marine Creek, Lake Country, Copper Creek. We've added schools along the way, but they've been able to shift things around and cover things where we didn't actually need to add actual routes to the agreement. Now with the addition of Eagle Mountain High School coming on board this fall, there's a need for that. So that 689 does include 3 home-to-school routes for the 24-25 school year. So, which will bring it up to 95. We have 95 home-to-school routes with those 3. So, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
So where are we on the smart tag? Is that being piloted yet, or where are we on that system?
We're still, we're going through training. We have weekly meetings online or through Teams. And so we have district team, smart tag, and then Gold Star. So we have another one Wednesday. So doing all of the setup, the training, the data is still being worked on. So we've run a couple of sample tests to make sure the data is being transferred over properly and accurately. So we're still in the whole data process thing right now. So, but training is going on as, you know, in the meantime. All the hardware here is ready to go. So hardware's installed on the bus and we already have all the tablets. So everything is pretty much ready once we get all the actual data part of it.
So do you think that there'll be a pilot during May like we originally talked about?
I'm still hoping for it because I really think that's, I mean, and I've expressed it over and over again to them. I'm really hoping for that because I really think that we need that in order to be able to have a strong level of comfort in order to roll it out in the fall. And so, I mean, I'm hoping for that. If not, then we will transition and we'll come up with plan B and make the best of that. But if at all possible, I'm pushing for something to be piloted during the month of May.
I move we approve amendment number 3 as presented with Gold Star Transit.
Second.
A motion by Steve and a second by Marilyn. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? There are none. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
All right, next we have act on the 23-24 budget amendment. Mr. Kiddington.
I make a motion to approve the budget amendment for April 2024.
Second. I'm sorry, Ron.
Second.
I have a motion by Tim, a second by Ron. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? There are none. Motion carries 7-0. That moves us on to awarding the contract for landscaping and exterior improvements for multiple campuses. Mr. Lee.
Good evening, President Ring, members of the board, Dr. Chadwell. Still from the 2017 bond, there are 14 campuses that are dedicated to get some landscaping improvements. What we've done is we had reviewed the frontage of each campus, came up with a comprehensive plan to either remove dead plants, add new plants, hardscapes, things of that nature. In the process, we did publish an RFQ on the district's electronic bidding system. From there, we invited 7 local contractors that were on a co-op. From the 7, we only received 1 bid, which was from HydroPros at a value of $775,760. The value of the cost of work, it does track with the budgeted value from the 2017 bond if you do include inflation. And unfortunately, for the district to rebid this project, it would require the work not to be completed before school starts. And if we were to push it to next summer, then we would take the risk of the project requiring additional funds due to inflation. This project will come out of the 2017 bond. The recommendation is to award HydroPros LLC for the landscape and exterior improvements at multiple campuses at a cost not to exceed $775,760.
So moved.
Second.
Is that Tim? Yeah. Okay. A motion by Ron, a second by Tim. Is there any discussion?
How much over the inflation number was it?
We were $100,000.
Is $100,000 more than the original budget?
That's correct. And so if you guys can see, typically I carry a contingency amount. This project, I don't have a contingency. And so what they did is they carry numbers for any sort of irrigation work, any sort of work that might happen under the ground. So I do believe that the cost that you see here is not going to be a total reflective cost of what we actually pay. We will actually save some funds because they're carrying money for unknowns.
Hunter, why do you think we got 1 out of 7 responses?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think a lot of it might be at the time it was bid. This is a big project, a lot of campuses, a lot of landscaping. A lot of these folks might have been already booked up for the summer.
Have we used some of these people before? Some of these 6 that didn't respond?
Right. Yes. Yes, we have. And for whatever reason, we just didn't get a lot of competition. And
Hunter, do you
so-
mind elaborating also the fact that this is on multiple properties versus one large project and how that affects a contractor looking at the work?
Right. And so if you're looking at 14 campuses, there's a separate mobilization for each campus. And so that contractor has to find a location to house all their materials. And typically we like to provide some sort of lay down yard, one site, one location's easy. They come in with a skid steer, pick it up, and then move it to the designated location and then do their designated work. Here, it's moving a trailer around basically, 14 times, or finding a spot that could be an inconvenience to the campus as far as where they have to drop off their materials. And it being at the front of the campus would most likely, they most likely want to dump materials at the front, which is definitely the most inconvenient, so.
And it's also a reason why we want to do it during the summer. 'Cause
Right.
although this could be done during the school year, it's this part of the process that makes it really messy.
Correct.
And wanting to do it at an opportune time.
Absolutely.
Since there wasn't enough money in the 17 bond to fulfill all the projects, we're choosing this over maybe taking this money and spending it in Saginaw.
That's correct.
This is a conscious choice we're making at this time.
Yes. So
Yes.
we came to a level of comfortability as we have got further into the high school project. We understand our contingencies with that project and the funds that potentially are left over from the 2017 bond and the value, that $100,000 overage that we have. after looking at the money that we've saved, is not a huge impact to what we have left for the 2017 bond.
And you think this company here have we done business with them before?
We have. Okay. Our grounds crew is very comfortable with this contractor and actually has highly recommended them.
Any more discussion? All right, all those in favor? Opposed? There are none. Motion carries 7-0. Okay, next we have consider approving the guaranteed maximum price for the demolition package inside middle school.
As it's been discussed in previous board meetings, there was a need to release an early package for demolition at Wayside Middle School. This was for us to continue with our schedule to meet our dates in order to open school next December. In summation of this project, the package includes the demolition of old administration buildings, football fields, tennis courts, existing utilities, and then there's going to be some minor concrete repair striping on the existing Wayside, and then we'll be constructing a football field over on the Bryson property. What I would like you to do is, if it should have been in your update folder, if you could go flip to the back to the actual tabulation, you can see the actual cost, total cost of package one for demo, which is $2,939,095. If you'll go to the final page, you'll see a list starting from general requirements, working its way down all the way to the financials. So there's something that I'd like to clarify to the board. When we presented recommended the contract for the award of a CMAR, there were some numbers that we awarded in that contract. Part of that were the pre-construction fees at $30,000. So part of this is those monies. There were general requirements, which was a total of $2,845,096.29. And all that had to do with was the total cost for the contractor to complete the project. So staffing fees, office supplies, trailer, all that good stuff is wrapped up in the general conditions. And then the final piece, of course, is the construction manager fee, which is 1.7%. So all those are fixed numbers that were approved in the original contract. So although you see a percentage of that, that amount will not increase what was approved in our initial contract unless there's some sort of change in scope that requires the project to extend past its dedicated schedule time. And then past that, we get into the specifics of the construction, which is the demolition of the utilities and the old admin building. And then actually the demolition of the utilities is wrapped up in utilities here. We also have to connect on to the existing sanitary sewer line that runs for Wayside Middle School. It actually runs straight through the proposed location of New Wayside down to the park. So we're going to have to reroute that over the summer. There's some dedicated funds for that. And then we have some allowances. You can see there the temporary football field over at Bryson, and then some utility coordination. Again, there's some pieces to that sanitary sewer that we're unaware of. And then also, we do not have approved permits. So we're not sure what requirements the city may throw at us that will require additional funds. I think it's important for this package for us to have these allowances, to have some additional funds, just in case we come up with a problem, we're able to combat that. And whatever funds we don't use will then be reconciled to a future package, most likely package 3. Where we actually will come to recommend the full building package to you.
So the other option is change orders? I mean, that.
So we'll have.
Just trying to avoid change orders on this?
Right.
Okay.
And there is owner and CM contingency, so there's still the ability to have change orders. But we're not looking at, small pieces that we need. We're looking at big pieces that, hey, something comes up, we need to order 5 new manholes for the sewer line. Our contractor has the ability to do that without delay. And what you'll see too is as we get further in the packages, demo's kind of difficult. This doesn't really reflect that we're below budget as we are right now. The number that they initially provided for demo included Wayside, the existing Wayside. So we don't have any numbers applied to show you that we're under budget right now, and that will be presented in further packages. But we're looking at items that will need to be ordered that require more than just, $53,000 potentially for the contingency that's set here.
We also do have a member of our POG team POG team here. Do you mind introducing him?
Yeah, absolutely. So Jason Davis, this will be the senior project manager on this project. I've actually known Jason since I was at POG. I worked with him in a small capacity, but great guy, and I know he's going to do a great job for us.
And he was also present at our meeting last week, along with our superintendent that has built our schools, including Marine Creek Middle School. So if there's any questions you have for the POG team, we're here to answer.
On that field over there, Bryson, is that just the field? I mean, they're not putting anything else. I mean, restrooms would be, you'd use Bryson.
We'll have to coordinate with Bryson.
Kids, yeah.
There'll be irrigation, I'm sure, right?
Correct.
As part of this?
Yep.
Okay.
We're going to put it adjacent to that existing parking lot that we don't use, that used to be the bus parking lot. And so it's good because they don't have to really interact with the rest of the Bryson. No one ever parks out there. So.
And when it's done, we're just gonna, if it's already irrigated.
We're gonna leave it alone.
Gonna leave it.
Yeah. Leave it for future use, but we're not gonna change it. We can continue to water it if we want, or at that time we can stop. It's up to us.
It'll be on its own schedule, so we can elect to water it as much or as little as we choose.
It'll be like one of the auxiliary fields at Boswell. We manage it on our own separately.
And the water, Bryson can,
it's off of a well there?
It is. We're going to tee off the current well. We got a 3-inch line that we'll tie into right next to it. So
it's
pretty convenient.
Enough to handle it? Okay.
Yes.
If anybody had a motion.
I make a motion to approve the guaranteed maximum price for the demolition package at Wayside Middle School replacement for $2,939,095.
Second.
Motion by Tim, a second by Steve. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? There are none. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Next, we are going to consider approving interlocal agreements with Region 10 and third-party administration services. Mr. Welch.
One we just talked about.
We did just talk about it. So if we had a motion, that would.
I move that we approve interlocal agreements with ESCU Region 10 for RAMS 403B third-party administration services with the addendum for the waiver of fees and 457B retirement savings plan.
Second.
A motion by Blake and a second by Steve. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? There are none. Motion carries 7-0. And that brings us to consider action on a proposed settlement and release agreement. So,
The board is asked to consider action on proposed compromise settlement and release agreement and cause number 153-315-119-20, 308 Construction LLC versus Eagle Mountain Saginaw.
I move we approve the proposed mediation settlement with 308 Construction LLC and Eagle Mountain Saginaw ISD.
Second.
I have a motion by Steve and a second by William. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion doesn't pass. 2-5. Motion does not carry. Motion fails. Excuse me. 2-5. That does conclude our action items this evening and it moves us on to our routine monthly reports. Was there any questions on those? No. And let's review the board planning calendar, Dr. Chadwell.
Yes, this is on page 187 of your packet. We'll continue with finance updates with budget. We also have our quarterly demographic report, housing analysis for first quarter 2024. We have the Aspire 2029 Educational Services Report. We know that work is being done and a lot of great work being done there. And so we're really looking forward to bringing you that report. We also have the 24-25 Student Code of Conduct. Is that still on schedule, Chandra? Okay, or Kathleen, excuse me. And then also we have election of board officers. Remember, this meeting is being moved until after the holiday. I believe it's on May the 28th. And we also have under consent agenda continuation of contract renewals, a low attendance waiver if needed, and then the approval of the intergovernmental cooperative purchasing agreement with Region 10.
All right, that brings us to our consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
William? Let's see if we can get one through this time, William.
I have a motion by Steve, a second by William. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? There are none. Motion carries 7-0. All right. And that will bring us to our board president's announcements. I had just a few things for you this evening. We had just a reminder that we have those of us that are on the evaluation subcommittee. That meeting is April 30th at 10. Also, the Education Foundation Gala is May 18th. You should have received an email on that requesting an RSVP. There's also notification about it on at your locations, but if you could RSVP for that if you plan to attend. Also, Fine Arts Showcase on May 20th and 21st. You should have received an email from Mr. Bell looking for a response from you if you intend to attend that. And just a reminder that we also moved the board meeting to allow for those of us to be able to attend that. So our board meeting is moved to Tuesday, May 28th. You have in your packet a RSVP tonight for the Brackett and Ellis Center on June 4th. And then just a reminder, SLI dates are June 19th through 22nd.
I just have a few items on page 290, Evening with the Experts. That's this week. That's a great night to see our students perform and all that they've done within their PACE classes. That's at 6 o'clock at Chisholm Trail High School. If you've not been before, it is a lot of fun. The room's packed and kids are incredibly enthusiastic about what they're presenting. We also have May 2nd, a school to watch ceremony at Wayside Middle School at 6 o'clock. On May 3rd, we have the district-wide art experience at Saginaw High School Performing Arts Center from 5:30 to 7:30. We also have some award ceremonies coming up. I'm starting with the retiree dinner. This is a little different this year. We're breaking this up as a separate event. That's on May 7th at 5 o'clock here at administration. On May the 14th, 1 week later, we have the Years of Service reception. This is from 5 to 7, also in that same room. Many of the events that President Reagan's already mentioned, but it's really exciting coming to the last 6 weeks, officially the last 6 weeks. And I know probably for two of us up here, it's kind of odd because we're about to graduate as parents. And so it was fun for kids. So it's just really neat to see all these events and things take place and just really, really proud. Just echoing, earlier with the kids in front of us that have worked so hard. That's the greatest thing about this time of the year. So this year I'm kind of holding it on a little bit closer, all those events. So anyway, thank you.
All right, Steve. Do you have anything you want to say?
No, it seems there's no further business coming before this board. Madam Chairman, I move we adjourn.
Second. All right, I have a motion by Steve, a second by Mary Ellen. All those in favor? We are adjourned.
Congratulations, Dan.